আসসালামু আলাইকুম দর্শক মণ্ডলী, আজকে এখানে আমি এখানে নিয়ে এসেছি আমাদের ফার্মের ম্যানেজিং পার্টনার অ্যাটর্নি এইচ বুশ ফিশার। আমরা আলোচনা করব অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট ভিকটিমদের বিভিন্ন রাইট, বিভিন্ন দায়িত্ব এবং কি কি অ্যাওয়ার্ড তারা পেতে পারেন। সো ব্রুস, I just introduced myself that we will be discussing different types of rights and responsibility of accident victims. We will be discussing one after another. So please introduce yourself.
Mohammed, thanks for having me. My name is H. Bruce Fisher. I've been representing accident victims for almost 20 years in the city of New York. And recently I've been proud to announce that Mr. Mohammed Amajundu is working with our law firm.
Thank you. All right, so let us begin with a common question. Many times people going to school, coming from work, or walking after the snowstorm, they always have a slip and fall issue. So give them some tips what they have to do. And also I heard that, and in your ad you own a huge case where Bengali client awarded like 1.2 million or something award. So give us some idea.
Yeah, we've recently received a settlement of $1.2 million for a Bengali gentleman who slipped or fell on the sidewalk near a store that he was working at. Now, that doesn't mean every case is worth $1.2 million. So if you've been injured in a slip and fall, if you've slipped, if you've fallen, and you've gotten hurt, it's important to get legal advice as to how to proceed forward, because there's always time limits on when you can file a claim. There are certain, if you fall in a city building, let's say hypothetically, or a city-owned piece of property, you may only have 90 days to file that claim with the city.
Thank you. So, Bruce বললেন যে আমাদের বাঙালি কমিউনিটির একটা মামলায় উনি 1.2 মিলিয়ন উইন করেছেন, বাট এর অর্থ এই নয় যে ইচ এন্ড এভরি কেজের উপর হবে, বাট আপনার অধিকার সম্পর্কে জানা ভেরি ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট। অলসো ব্রুস মেনশন করছেন যে যদি গভর্নমেন্টের এগেনস্টে কোনো কেস করতে হয় ওই সময় আপনাকে 90 ডেজের ভিতরে ক্লেম ফাইল করতে হয়। সো থ্যাংক ইউ। সো নেক্সট কোশ্চেন আই হ্যাভ ফর ইউ, ফর দি ভিউয়ার্স। Let's say many times the car accident is like everyday thing. When an individual lost his leg and injured seriously, and also his or her car also get damaged, I mean property also get damaged. So do you charge for the property damage portion of the litigation, or only you charge for pain and suffering or accident part? Mention that.
So when we represent you for a property damage claim in relation to a personal injury case, so if you've been injured as a result of a car accident and your car has been damaged, and we're representing you for the personal injury, we don't charge a fee for the property damage that the recovery that we receive for you. We just give that right to you. But it's interesting that you say car accidents, because very often in New York, people are unaware that there's a $25,000 minimum policy amount that you have to have in New York State. It's required by law. So it's very important to get legal advice, because very often people are under the impression that they're going to get a lot of money for a serious injury, and sometimes you don't get that because of the fact that you were hit by somebody who has a small policy.
Alright, so yeah, so যদি আপনারা কোথাও অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট হন এবং আপনাদের প্রপার্টি ড্যামেজ হয়, প্রপার্টি ড্যামেজ অর্থাৎ গায়ে ভাঙচুর যেটা হচ্ছে যে পয়সাটা, এই পুরো পয়সাটা আপনি পাবেন। তবে ওই যেটা ইনজুরির থেকে যে পয়সাটা আসবে সেটার 1/3 এইচ বুশ ফিশার ক্লেম করবে, বাকিটা আপনাদের জন্য থাকবে। আর অলসো এটা আপনাদের জানা অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ, অনেক নিউ ইয়র্ক স্টেটের মিনিমাম ইন্স্যুরেন্স পলিসি রিকোয়ারমেন্ট হচ্ছে $25,000। এই কারণে যদি আপনি কখনো অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট হন এবং ওই উপরোক্ত যে গাড়ির দ্বারা আপনি আঘাতপ্রাপ্ত হয়েছেন, সেই গাড়িটা যদি শুধু $25,000 গাড়ি হয়ে থাকে, সেখানে আপনার প্রাপ্তির পরিমাণ অনেক কম, বাট অনেক গাড়ি আছে অনেক বড় পলিসিও থাকে। So next question that I will be asking you, a lot of time people complain. Let's say a case, they give it to their lawyer, it takes maybe a couple of years. Why? What is the time frame? Why sometimes case settle or case done in like 6-7 months? Sometimes it takes like 6 years. Why is it different? Can you explain?
There's always time. There's always certain time factors that affect any given case. So certain court systems move quicker. Certain court systems have a larger number of cases that they have to handle. At the end of the day, the issue simply becomes the agreement either between the insurance company and the attorneys, or maybe there is no agreement and the case has to go to trial and go in front of a jury. So that's, if you have to wait to go to trial in front of a jury, then you're waiting like every other case is waiting to get through the system. So that's, there are a number of factors that can affect that. And then sometimes there's also the issue of some attorneys may not handle a case may not look at your case for 2 years, not doing anything. That's also a possibility.
Alright, so বিভিন্ন কারণে মামলা বিলম্বিত হইতে পারে। যেমন কোনো কোনো কোর্টে অনেক বেশি মামলা থাকে, সেই কারণে মামলা বিলম্বিত হইতে পারে। কোনো কোনো সময় দেখা যায় কোনো অ্যাটর্নি 2-1 বছর পর্যন্ত আপনার মামলাটা ধরেই না, সেই কারণে হয়তো হইতে পারে। বাট এটা ডিপেন্ড করে কেস বাই কেস। And so আপনারা আপনাদের মামলা বিলম্বের জন্য বিভিন্ন ফ্যাক্টর হইতে পারে, সেজন্য আপনার অ্যাটর্নির সাথে কথা বলা very important. So
but also what's very important to recognize is that as a client, right? If you have an accident case, if you're a client and you've been in an accident, an attorney's handling your case, is to check in with that attorney to see what's going on. Sometimes people don't have a case, right? Let's say you don't have, you're in a car accident but you don't get injured, then you don't have a case. Right? So it's important to call the attorney that you signed up with and ask them, hey, what's happening with my case? Do I have a case? Is there a case? What can I expect? Because sometimes the client also has to take responsibility for their own case and call the attorney and say, hey, what's happening?
Yeah, that's obvious. যদি আপনার একটা মামলা থাকে, আপনি এটা দিয়ে কোথাও ঘুমাবেন না। আপনারও একটা দায়িত্ব থাকবে, সেটাই বলতেছেন যে আপনি যেন মাসে একবার বা সপ্তাহে খবর নিতে হবে মামলা কতটুকু আগাইতেছে বা মামলাকে কোনো পজিটিভ রেজাল্ট হবে কিনা। অনেক সময় দেখা যায় যে ওই মামলায় ডিসমিস হয়, কোনো রকমের কোনো রেজাল্টও পাওয়াও নাও যাইতে পারে। সো ওই ব্যাপারে আপনাদেরকে সজাগ থাকতে হবে। সো নেক্সট কোয়েশ্চেন দ্যাট আই হ্যাভ, Bruce, in New York State, under New York State law, accident victim, any accident happen within the state of New York, and an attorney admitted to New York State have to handle it. And oftentimes ambulance chaser, people from different jurisdiction, attorneys, non-attorneys, halfway attorney from another country or another state, they sign up the case, and actually who do the trial, who work on the case, they do not know. So I think it is very important, each client, when they sign up their case, whether I sign up the case, I always tell the people, I am signing this case on behalf of Attorney H. Bush Fisher, and Attorney H. Busher is the only attorney who is responsible for this case. Even if he have another counsel, still he is responsible. This is his forum that I am signing the case. So we need to let the other people know that when they sign the case, they have to ask a question. You have to ask a question, who will be actually your attorney? So you thought about it.
Well, that's an important point to bring up, because, for instance, in our office, we do one thing only. We only do accident cases. That's it. We don't do divorce. We don't do immigration. We don't do contract work. We don't do matrimonial, which is divorce. But I learned a very long time ago to do one thing and do it to the best of your ability. So if you sign up with anybody that's connected to my office, which is why you and I are working together now, because your office is not handling personal injury cases. So if you're with us and you sign up a case, that case comes to us. Sure. I'm responsible for your case. The attorney who's handling it or the non-attorney who's taking information is instantly responsible to the client. So for instance, if you take a case, you're licensed in California, you take a case in New York, and then you somehow give it to a non-New York attorney or a New York law firm, but the client doesn't know about the fact that you gave the case to somebody else, then there's a client who essentially has been signed up by a law firm that the client doesn't know about, and that will never happen with us. If you sign up, if a client signs up with me, signs up with you, The next day, all they have to do is call my cell phone. I learned that 20 years ago. To give, can I start over on this question?
Yes. All right. So, আপনারা দেখবেন অনেক সময় নিউ ইয়র্ক স্টেটের অনেক মামলা করার জন্য যারা অ্যাটর্নি নয় বা অন্য স্টেটের অ্যাটর্নিরা আসিয়া কেস সাইন করে এই সম্পর্কে আপনাদের জানা অত্যন্ত গুরুত্বপূর্ণ। সেজন্য আমি ব্রুসকে একটা কোশ্চেন করবো। সো দি কোশ্চেন ইজ ব্রুস, many time when there is an accident, the actual attorney does not go to the scene of accident to sign up the case. They send somebody or somebody else come, somebody else sign. So what this customer should know, a client should know, the client should the client not ask who you signing this case for, who is my actual attorney. Please tell me, clear this enough to the people, because in New York it is the law, so far I know, that an attorney admitted to New York State only allowed to do the accident case, not the attorney from other state or other country allowed to handle it. If they sign up the case, they must disclose to the client which forum this case will be handled.
Yeah, of course. It's like if you go to a car dealership and you buy a car, you want to know what kind of car it is. So I'm not going to walk into a car dealership, give somebody $10,000 and all of a sudden drive home with a Chevy when I wanted a Honda, right? So the client has a right to know the attorney that's going to be working. It's actually technically the client, ethically should have complete 100% knowledge who they are signing up with. So if you sign up with anybody associated with my office, myself, Mr. Molina, who works in Queens, that client knows instantly that H. Bruce Fisher's office is handling the case, because what happens is that you're instantly responsible for signing a client up, and then the law firm that is representing you is responsible for you. So if you don't know who your actual attorney is, that's a big problem.
Thank you. All right, so always যখন আপনার কাছে কেউ আসবে আপনাদের কেস সাইন আপ করার জন্য, আপনারা অধিকার আছে, আপনারা জিজ্ঞাসা করবেন আমার অ্যাকচুয়াল অ্যাটর্নি কে আমার জন্য কোর্টে যাবে। এটা ভেরি ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট, কারণ দেখা গেল একজন কেস সাইন করিয়ে নিতেছে, তখন তৃতীয় ব্যক্তি আরেকজন আপনার মামলা পরিচালনা করে, এটা ঠিক না। All right, so the last question that I have on medical malpractice.
Let me just jump in real quick.
Yes, yeah.
I think it's also important for real people to think to themselves when they're in an accident, because there are people out there that will try to offer you money for a case. We get phone calls, can you pay us for a case? No, you're not going to get paid, and you shouldn't get paid by the attorney or the medical office because you have an accident case. And at the same time, it's important to advise people that since they had an accident, there are people out there that want to sign their case up and may actually sign the case up and sell it to somebody else. So, that's where it's important for people to realize, who am I actually signing up with? Who is my attorney? Who's going to go to court for me? Who's going to represent me? So the day you sign up with me, you get my cell phone number, and you can call me on my cell phone and say, hey, Bruce, I'm your new client. And I say, hey, Mr. Islam or Mr. Smith, thank you for signing up with us. We'll do our best to represent you. You should know who your lawyer is, not who your friend is who's signing you up. So if somebody signs up with you, Mr. Majunda, they know specifically that you're, until you get admitted to the bar, you're not the lawyer representing them. And the day you get admitted, we'll have a big party, and you can go to court if you want to. But myself or one of my attorneys will go to court for them.
Yes.
But they need to be able to call that office and say, hey, what's going on with my case? It's very important.
Yeah, let me explain this. So, যখনই আপনারা কোনো মামলা সাইন করবে, সে যেন ডিসক্লোজ করে সেটা তার অ্যাটর্নিকে। পার্টিকুলারলি আমি এতটুকু বলতে চাই, আমি যখন ব্রুস ফিশারের পক্ষে কোনো মামলা সাইন করি, সেটা এই মামলা ওর কাছেই যাবে এবং অ্যাটর্নি ব্রুস ফিশার আপনাদের পক্ষে কোর্টে যাবে। সো সিমিলার ওয়েতে যে কেউ সাইন করলে আপনারা সেই ব্যাপারে আপনারা জানা উচিত। এবং কেউ যদি আপনাকে কোনো লোক যদি টাকা অগ্রিম কোনো টাকা দেয় বা টাকা লেনদেন করা, এটা ঠিক না, এটা বেআইনি। এবং আমরা অ্যাটর্নি এইচ ব্রুস ফিশার উইল নেভার ডু, কখনো এই ধরনের কাজের সাথে জড়িত হবে না, সেটা উনি সবাইকে বলছেন। সো আশা করি আমাদের আলোচনা, আমাদের কথোপকথন জনগণের জন্য আপনাদের জন্য কিছু হলে উপকার হবে। সো ইন কেস হবে যদি কখনো অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট হয় আপনারা কল দিবেন এইচ বুশ ফিশারের ল ফার্মে এবং উনি আপনাদের কাছে আসবেন অথবা আমি যাব বা অন্য কেউ যাবে আপনাদের পাশে আমরা থাকবো। প্লিজ conclude it and also give them your cell phone number.
Well, many thanks. My cell phone number is 646-752-6097. So if you've been injured, call us or call Mr. Majunda or call Mr. Molina at the office and we'll help you.
My number is 917-597-6349. But again, any accident victim, any calls come to me, this case will be signed for Attorney H. Bush Fisher. Thank you so much. আমাদের সাথে থাকার জন্য আপনাদের সবাইকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ।